I pulled into my driveway and walked straight into a horror show. Not the flashing lights kind, but the kind that punches you in the gut. My koi pond, the centerpiece of my backyard, was nearly drained to sludge. A thick hose slurped the last inches into the street while my koi flopped in mud, their colors dulled by filth. Standing over them like a smug foreman was Marla Kensington, clipboard poised, beige power suit immaculate, and an expression that said ruining my day was all in a morning's work. The crew in Maple Crest HOA polos barely glanced up as they kept siphoning. "Oh, good. You're home," Marla Kensington cooed. "We're just finishing. What the hell are you doing?" I snapped. She arched an eyebrow, all fake concern. "Didn't you get the notice? We're reallocating water for the HOA's landscaping. Your pond water is being repurposed for the greater good." The greater good? I pointed at my gasping fish. "These are living creatures." "Don't be dramatic," she said. "Refill it later. Also, next phase may require reshaping your yard to maintain aesthetic cohesion." Reshape clearly meant bulldoze. This wasn't the first time. I'd thought the earlier drains were mistakes, then coincidences, then water conservation. Every time, I paid to refill. But watching my koi struggle while Marla Kensington smirked lit a fuse. I took a breath, forced a calm smile, and said, "Fine." She blinked, confused by the sudden compliance. I turned and walked inside because I had a better plan. That afternoon, I ordered a pond-safe, ultra-concentrated dye, harmless for fish, dramatic for optics, the kind that turns water a shocking neon green and stains anything it touches for weeks. Under cover of dark, with the pond refilled and aerators humming, I poured in the dye. The water swirled from clear to radioactive emerald, like a movie set for a toxic spill. Perfect. Morning. Right on schedule. The Maple Crest HOA crew arrived. Marla Kensington posted up at my property line, all business. I leaned on the porch rail with my coffee and watched. The second that neon stream gushed from the hose into the HOA's immaculate beds, her scream could have cracked glass. "What is happening?" she shrieked, stumbling back as the green torrent soaked the grass, ran under shrubs, and streaked across walkways. One landscaper dropped the hose like it had teeth. I took a slow sip. "Didn't you get the notice? My pond is part of an eco-friendly algae treatment. Perfectly safe. Just greener than expected." "You," Marla Kensington sputtered, then stared in horror as the stain spread. Neighbors drifted over, phones out, whispering. The dye bled into everything, the lush turf glowing. Unnaturally, the boxwoods tinted ghoul green, and it wasn't going anywhere. Weeks, minimum. She started barking orders. The crew tried diluting with more water, which only smeared green across driveways and sidewalks like a highlighter gone berserk. A neighbor muttered, "Looks like aliens landed." Another whispered, "This is going straight to the neighborhood Facebook." No one posts anything. Marla Kensington snapped, turning the color of a stop sign. "By all means," I said, "call whoever you want. Just be ready to explain why you've been draining a private pond for an unauthorized project." Her mouth opened and closed like one of my koi. The realization finally hit. She'd spent thousands from the HOA budget to beautify the community with stolen water and turned it into a glow-in-the-dark punchline. Worse, people were watching and questioning. "Fix this. Now," she ordered the crew. "We can't," one said. "It has to break down naturally." I shrugged. "You could always dig it up and replant everything." "Expensive, but isn't that what the HOA budget is for?" A flicker of fear crossed Marla Kensington's eyes. She stalked off, thumb flying over her phone, crisis spinning as photos and videos spread like wildfire. By week's end, her emails were pure damage control, unauthorized water contamination event, corrective actions, temporary fee, adjustment. I skimmed them from a lounge chair by my fully restored pond, koi cruising lazily beneath the surface, alive and unbothered. The fallout came fast. Neighbors started comparing notes. Fines over unapproved flower colors, threats about mailbox paint, and a rule dictating the exact shade of beige allowed on siding. The green bed fiasco snapped everyone awake. Then the city got involved. Someone forwarded Marla Kensington's frantic calls to Daniel Ortiz, a no-nonsense municipal compliance officer from Brookhaven. He came to the next HOA meeting, not as her savior, But as an investigator, the community center was packed. Usually those meetings were ghost towns where Marla Kensington droned about lawn length and mailbox tilts. Tonight, the room buzzed. She forced a smile, read a scripted statement, then dropped the bomb. A mandatory fee to cover remediation. "You want us to pay for your mistake?" someone shouted. "Under what legal authority did you drain a private pond?" another asked. "The HOA has broad discretion under our charter," Marla Kensington started. Daniel Ortiz held up a hand. "That's not what I asked. What specific authority allowed you to take water from a private source for public landscaping?" Silence. Even her usual loyalists looked at their shoes. "As of now," Daniel Ortiz said, "the city is opening a formal review into the HOA's actions regarding unauthorized water use and potential violations of private property rights. Anyone with similar issues, submit complaints to my office." Hands shot up. Marla Kensington went pale. She tried one last pivot. "He contaminated the water with illegal substances. We tested it," Daniel Ortiz cut in. "Non-toxic, legally obtained, and used on his own property. Your HOA has no right to redistribute private water." Her jaw snapped shut. A board member, Tanya Blake, usually quiet, stood. "I move for a vote of no confidence in Marla Kensington as president." "You can't," Marla began. "Yes, we can," Tanya Blake said. "And we should." The room erupted. "About time. Out of control for years." Seconded. The vote wasn't close. In minutes, Marla Kensington was removed. The board shifted immediately to rolling back her most absurd rules and freezing non-essential spending pending the city review. As the meeting broke up, neighbors clapped my shoulder, laughed about the alien grass, and joked about installing a community koi pond in my honor. I just smiled and walked home under a sky that suddenly felt lighter. My pond was safe. My fish were safe. And the reign of beige terror was over. In the days that followed, the glow faded, but the lesson didn't. The board apologized for the overreach and released a transparent budget audit. Tanya Blake took interim leadership and invited resident input. Daniel Ortiz's office issued a formal warning to the HOA along with a compliance plan. No more reallocating private resources, proper permits for any water transfers, and mandatory notice and consent procedures for projects near lot lines. The HOA lawyer circulated a policy acknowledging that private water features are off-limits, no exceptions. A week later, Marla Kensington resigned from the board entirely. Word was she'd put her house up for sale. She passed me once on the sidewalk, eyes hard, lips tight. I nodded. She didn't. Neighbors stopped by my gate now to chat about koi care instead of bylaws. A dad asked what filtration system I used. A kid from down the block pressed his face to the water's edge and whispered, "They're like living jewels." I handed him a pinch of pellets and watched his grin widen when the koi surfaced. That evening, I sat by the pond with a cold drink and listened to the soft churn of the waterfall. Ripples combed the neon memory out of my head, replaced by the steady, ordinary rhythm I loved. I thought about how simple the whole thing really was. Bullies only win if you play by their rules. Marla Kensington weaponized bylaws. I countered with optics, patience, and proof. Bright green proof. The neighborhood laughed, then listened, then voted. And the city did what the city should. I tossed a final pinch of food. The koi rose like coins catching light and slipped back into the green-tinged reflection of the trees. Peace. At last. And the kind that lasts because everyone understands the line. For anyone tempted to drain a private pond in the name of community standards, take it from me. And from Maple Crest HOA after. A very public lesson in color theory. Don't. Some water you just don't touch. And if you do, don't be surprised when your perfect lawn turns a very instructive shade of green.